Okay, so I'm making a 24-foot diameter, 12-foot radius geodesic dome on the third order. I've got myself a jig set up out here with a vise holding one end, and I've got measurements to the lengths of the post that I need to cut. In this particular case, I got lucky. The 3 inches that I'm cutting off is on either side of this post, so I can make a cut here, make a cut here, and I've got 2 of my B-length posts I've already cut. And he even hammered some of the A posts and C posts, and this is, as it stands right now, the last of my B cuts. Just like that, I've got 2 more of my last 2 B cuts, and we'll get back to you for hammering and flattening the ends and drilling holes. Okay, so we're on to flattening ends. We already cut all the posts in the last video. I showed you that. We've got 3 lengths, A, B's, and C's, and I've got a rig set up over here if you want to come take a closer look at this. What I've got here is my anvil over here, which I'm flattening the ends on, and if you can see this right over here, I've got 2 screws with a third to catch it, so it's just the right distance away every time. And I take my hammer to this side, and the important thing to remember is to have the crease in this conduit at kind of a 45-degree angle the way you're pounding. You don't want it straight down, you don't want it straight to the side because it'll break the crease. And you just pound these things nice and flat. You can see how nice and flat that makes it. So then I flip it around, and again with my jig over here, I've got a nice place that I can set that in so that I know that it's flat on the other side as well. So I'm pounding the 2 sides flat. And as you get better at that, you can reduce that down to maybe 5 or 6 whacks. And we take this over, so we got the 2 flat ends. We'll take this over to our drilling rig. You can see we've got a good chunk of the dome set up already. Alright. Then we bring this over here, and again you can see I've got a place over here, part of the jig, 2 screws where that fits in. And then I've got this side here, a drill press set up. I got a guide here so that it stays in the center. And we got a little feller working just rigging that through. Woo-hoo! Hold this nice and flat and take your time. And from here I like to twist this back and forth and wallow out that hole a little bit. We flip it around and we do the same to the other side. And then we're ready to bend the ends, which I'll go ahead and show you after we drill this one out here. This here is used to keep my hole a ½ an inch from the end, which is what I planned for. Take it easy, Cam. Wallow that out a little bit. Go ahead and lift it up. And we've got the nice holes drilled in the ends of these, and I'll show you how to finish them over here.
John, let's take these over.
Last phase here, I've got a screw placed in, which I believe makes a 45-degree angle. Alright, rather a 12-degree angle from here to here. I line this up and I just pound those flat, and that makes a 12-degree bend on the end of each one of these. Make sure the bend is down over here before doing the other side. And you can see it gives it a nice little angle. Then it's ready to put those together later. It's going. Alright, so this jig that we've created here has a spot for me to hammer down the small, shortest ones, the C lengths, the B lengths here, and if I remove these two screws, these are the C lengths. There's only that much difference, so I just take these out when I'm ready to do the A's. And then this whole operation here, I have just kind of drilled down for the flattening portion. All I have to do to move it is undo that screw, undo this screw, and I already undid this one that's holding it all down, and I just need to slide it to the length that I need. And I marked it the last time with this line right here. So, and I just put it back in. And I'm ready to do the next size. Do not try and make one of these yurts without setting up some kind of jig. Spend the time doing it, otherwise you're going to end up with a whole bunch of gallywhanked pieces. So that's my jig, that's what I set up. Alright, so we're working on the the bottom layer of this dome. Started, I guess the middle point is right up there. We put on half the lower level so far. We've laid out, you can see along the bottom here, where all the different strut pieces go. And we're slowly working our way around, lifting and adding the joints and working our way around from one side to the other. Which, you know, it can be a very nice team effort when it's all said and done. Lots of bodies involved helps. I'm just here to lift, get these things up at the right angle that they need to be at. Get these guys putting on the bits.
A quick note, you want to put the bolts facing into the dome, not facing out like seen here.
Just loose at first, you know, to get them snug, hand tightened. And we worked on the next joint down, finishing up those. And we'll continue to do this all the way around till we're putting the last ones in place, and we'll bring the video back when we hit that last one. Go ahead and kill it. Alright, pull that corner out just a little bit, that little joint here out so it gets the angles right. There we go. But fidgeting with these angles is going to be the hard part with these last ones. There we go, look at that.
Okay, now put the nut.
Nut and bolt on that one, or washer nut.
I have one. Nut and bolt.
And then the last piece.
Okay. How do we get this? There it is.
Wait till we get that connected and we'll get everybody set.
I think that's it.
In hindsight, I would drill the holes a 1/16 of an inch larger than the bolt that you're using to make these fittings go together a lot easier. I speak from experience.
Here, Camden.
Alright, we're on the home stretch here.
Video.
The last nut and bolt going on now.
Nut and bolt. Whoa. Almost done.
And all we have left is tightening them all down, and this thing will be rock
Look
solid.
at this thing. Isn't this amazing? We made this all. We drilled, we hammered, we did every single thing to make this.
Alright, Cam, shut her down.
It is awesome.
So, albeit I didn't film on any of the earlier runs of this, we're on the final process. I've got a board flopped over with the vinyl flopped over so I can paint on it without getting the glue on the other vinyl. He's using a board as well, running down the seams. We're just doing that 1.5 inches wide, and then we'll stick them together.
This could be the first training video.
So, I'm using billboard vinyls with this product, HH66 vinyl cement, and what we've done is we've painted a strip about 1.5 inches, 2 inches wide, both sides of this, and we're going to stick them together, and that's how we've done, that's how we've seamed this entire tarp of vinyls. So we're just now, we've painted it on, let it set for a couple of minutes, and now all we're doing is attaching the two. It's really just this easy.
I've already seen something that we have to keep in mind. This needs to be done in real good sunlight
Oh yeah, that makes
because
it.
it becomes much more flexible.
pliable. So if you can, on a nice sunny day, do this. It makes the tarp a lot more pliable. You get to these curve marks, these sail-shaped pieces, and they get a little cumbersome to work with the vinyls, but when it's nice and soft from the sun, they're a lot more pliable.
I unfortunately did not film the final setup and putting the tarp on the dome. What I did was leave the last seam undone. You feed the top of this roll, as you can see it here, up to the top of the dome, kind of clamp it or have someone hold it in place as you unroll it around the outside of the dome. Then I take the two loose ends and roll them together and clamp them to secure it. And on the other side of the dome somewhere I have a tarp zipper that I put in place that provides a door. You can do the same for windows. Maybe the next time I set this thing up, I'll time-lapse that whole thing in some instruction to put in the top on. And you can see the final product. If I can find some pictures, I'll put it at the end of this video.
Describe this process.
So now what he's doing is just making sure he's got a good flat groove between each of those spots. Just take a piece of metal or whatever, one of those little rollers that are meant for this job, and make sure you got a good connection between all the two. This vinyl, actually, this cement actually melts the vinyl, and then when you put the two pieces together, it bonds them together like it's like a weld. So it's really good stuff for this process.